Hey gang, Gordon here, welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of our one-day playthroughs. In a time where the average game can take tens, if not hundreds of hours to get through, it's nice to go back and check out a game that you can play in a single day. And I didn't realize this until earlier today, but 2024 marks the 20th anniversary, at least as far as the original goes, of the release of one of the oddest but one of the most endlessly playable games in video game history. We're gonna play the original Katamari Damacy. Now again, this game came out in March of 2004 in Japan. It came out in September of 2004 in North America. It was created by Namco, was released originally on the PS2, and then was reissued as part of, under the name Katamari Damacy Reroll, for Windows, the Switch, the PS4, the Xbox One, and even the Google Stadia. Now, if you don't know anything about this game, and you've never seen a Katamari game or anything of the sort, one, it is extremely surreal in its design and in its implementation. And its aesthetic, I should say, its design aesthetic. And two, it's all about the idea that the great and powerful king of the cosmos, who's this big guy who's talking to us now, in a drunken stupor, and I'm not making this up, destroyed all the stars in the sky, along with the moon and the planets and every other component of the universe, save for Earth itself. And what we are having to do as his 5-centimeter tall son, just simply known as the Prince, we've got to go to Earth with this big ball called the Katamari Ball and pick up stuff that will then get projected back into the sky and turned into stars, planets, heavenly bodies, etc. This seems like somebody at Namco had gone on a really profound acid trip, came back and went, I have the perfect idea for a video game. And lo and behold, here's what we have. So what we're going to do over the course of probably the next, I'd say, hour 45 minutes, we're going to see how far we can get. Because this is a game that you can very easily beat in a day. There are, if I remember it right, I'm trying to make sure I've got my facts straight here. I know there's at least 10 levels that are in the game, but it's not super dense. But we'll get through this little demo first. So how it works is really simple. You use both sticks. So if you're using a standard PS2 gamepad, which is what is on the screen, or you're using an Xbox controller like I am since I'm playing this on emulator, it's still the same idea. You use both sticks, that will help you move. So if you push all the way to the right, you can go that way, left goes that way. If you want to roll backwards, you can go that way. It's not super hard to do. The challenge comes when it is time to start picking up stuff. And then you can do this little charge and roll thing. If I can do it right. There we go. There we go. If you push both buttons as you're going forward. See if I can get him to do it. And do the jump, and he does jump quite a bit. There we go. So you have to push both buttons at the same time. That can be a little difficult. Whereas doing the charge sprint, once you get the hang of it, isn't that tough. So now we get to jump into our first mission. Where the king is going to dispatch us to Earth to pick up some stuff after he has destroyed the moon and all the stars. Now, unlike Booger Man, which still boggles my mind, we played a game yesterday called Booger Man. This has a slightly different cartoon aesthetic, obviously, but for being released in 2004, this is very much a game where Booger Man tried to go above and beyond its way to appeal to kids by being just as juvenile and basely gross as possible. This is absolutely a game your kids can play and have very little issue with it at all. There's no violence in it, unless you count being rolled up and stuck to the world's stickiest ball to be violence. Then it's, if you're a parent and you're looking for something for your kids to play, then this is by far one of the best games that you can offer them. And there have been sequels. There have been, I think now, 3 sequels that have been released by Namco since 2004. And I have all of them, so I should know. I know there's at least 2. 'Cause there's We Love Katamari, there's Katamari Forever. And I think there's a 4th one, but it escapes me at the current moment. Now, the thing about this is that you will have missions that operate in different ways. Usually these first ones, they'll just have a base time limit to get your Katamari to a certain size. So as you see, since we're 5 centimeters tall, all we gotta do is start picking stuff up. And the further along you go, you will find out that absolutely everything, and I mean everything, that you come across, if you can get your Katamari big enough, can be picked up. But you won't always have that luxury in each mission. So what you have to start doing is you have to start picking stuff up. Okay, King, I don't need to know. Yes, you feel emotional is the first thing we picked up. Big deal. Let me pick up the rest of the stuff here. Now, you will see, like, this big battery that's here in the middle. Like, if I try and pick this up, it won't let me. And that's only because the Katamari currently is not big enough to pick anything else up. I've got to get to a point where I can pick up things relative to the current size of the Katamari. Now, the nice thing is that it will usually drop you in a spot where you can start picking stuff up quickly. And the first couple of levels are not super hard. They can be challenging, but I've got more than enough time here that I've only got to get it to a certain size. I still can't pick up the battery yet. But now I can come down here and start picking up a lot more stuff. Now when you get these little flutters in these screen flickers, that lets you know that you've gotten to the next level. So now I'm at 7 centimeters. And now I can start picking up more things. And I can pick up slightly bigger things. But really what I want to do is I want to come back over here. You want to get where there's enough stuff in abundance, again, that you can build up quickly. So picking up these bottles of whiteout is going to help, or they're eye drops, it should say. There's that little thing at the bottom that will tell you what you picked up. I just picked up a bunch of cookies. That'll be helpful. Pick up strawberries, cherries. And we get to 10 centimeters. Now they're going to let us keep going, or were they going to call this good? No, they're going to call it home. So the King of the Cosmos will summon the Royal Rainbow. And then we get this little thing here. You cannot roll objects larger than your Katamari. If you crash into them, it will break the Katamari, and pieces that are currently stuck to it will come off. And if you put oddly shaped objects on it, it can make it harder to turn in a certain direction. So you've got to start getting used to turning it in a particular way. And then the larger stuff that you're able to pick up, you'll be able to like knock it ahead of you, including the screaming boy childs like this. And then this can help you eventually get you up. So if you go up high enough, you can spin it and get it up on top of the book and use it as a platform to get it up. But it has to be relative to the size of the Katamari. So it's one of those where the mechanics, again, aren't hard to figure out, but they can get challenging to master. And if you're dealing with stuff that, if you're running on a time clock, as some of these missions are, that can be the difference between you completing a mission or not. So I don't want to view the tutorial again. I want to get right into playing something else here. Make sure we don't get another pause on my PC here really quick. So he'll let it go into the heavens, and this will turn into the very first star we get, which is the Jelly Star. So now this is the main menu where we can go and proceed with different missions and whatnot. And this is apparently the prince's home planet, although we never get an actual name for what it is. It's just called the home planet. And what I want to do is I want to go to the next mission, which is make a star mission 2. So to move back and forth between the planets, you just hit the L1 or the R1 button. Not that hard. So now we start learning a little bit of geography, as they will give us greetings in the different areas we're going to. So now we have to go to the Philippines. So it must be around here somewhere. So now we have to go find more stuff to pick up. Today you'll be rolling inside the house. The Katamari should be, let's see, around a full 20 centimeters. We can believe in you for 6 minutes of Earth time. So we've got 6 minutes to get a ball to that 20 centimeter perimeter. And if we do that, we will manage to get a new star put together. Alright, we can't pick up frogs yet. And we can't pick up the snail yet. So we picked up the sticks of chewing gum, and by getting the sticks of chewing gum, although now I'm stuck, I don't know where I am. Where the heck am I? There we are. We're losing more stuff that we're attaching, which is not good. You see how we got that one stick of gum and it's got everything moving in a weird direction here. There we go, but that just picked up a bunch of stuff. We don't have to go outside yet. We have to get 10 centimeters for that, and then we can go outside, and that will help a lot. Get out from under this ramp. There we go. Now we're picking up blocks. And now we're at 10 centimeters, so we're in good shape. Just get it bigger, which we're planning on doing. See if I can get up the bed and pick up stuff around here. Zooming back over, we're gonna pick up the frogs. Alright, now we can go outside, and now that we can go outside, we can pick up a lot more stuff. Well, can't pick up the scissors, but we can pick up the forks. Oh, somebody's playing golf. That's not going to be helpful. Ah. If there is one issue with this game, is that the camera controls can get a little weird if you're not able to stay in proximity enough to the direction you're wanting to go. In later missions, it does get a little bit better when you can make the Katamaris bigger. And we got 3 minutes here. And we're closing in on 20 centimeters, so we should be in really good shape here. There's 20. Our Katamari is big as 20,887 ants. But you may as well make it much bigger, that is if you are really a prince. And I have an idea. Katamari is large enough, we'll be sure to turn it into a star. Even if you go directly back to your home planet, you can get it home from the pause screen. So they're going to let us keep going until the end of this the last 2 minutes. There, now we go to the steps, and now we come back in here and pick up a lot more stuff that we weren't able to get before. So we go up on the table right in front of the sleeping mother and get all this stuff. We've got 1 minute. Ah, I think I'm stuck. There we go. So we were able to pick up quite a bit more things. We're at 27. Can we get to 30 before it's time up? I don't think so. We got to 28-1, which isn't terrible. Now, the reviews of this game were really, really surprising. The Metacritic score still ranks as an 86 out of 100. And I only say why it was a success was because they weren't expecting anything of it when it was released here in the States. And it was only a moderate success in Japan. In 2004, it was a top-selling game the week it was sold, or the week it was released, I should say. With 32,000 units sold, it sold over 155,000 copies in Japan by the end of 2004. But Namco originally estimated that over 500,000 units would be sold in Japan. So it was, sales-wise, quite a disappointment. They never released it in PAL countries like Europe and Australia, but was when it was released in the US that it really took off. And in a lot of American publications, it received really high reviews, as our Bratty star has been put into orbit. Edge gave it an 8 out of 10, Eurogamer gave it a 9 out of 10, GamePro and Game Informer gave it 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5 stars. Game Revolution gave it an A-. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, and the official US PlayStation magazine gave it 4.5 out of 5. In 2015, it was placed 13th on US Gamer's 15 best games since 2000. And in the Guardian newspaper's ranking of the 50 best video games of the 21st century that they did in 2019, Katamari Damacy ranked 49th out of 50. It went on to receive considerable awards in the US for excellence in game design at the 2005 Game Developers' Choice Awards. G4 awarded it its Best Innovation Prize in its G4 awards that year as well. Katamari Damacy was one of the recipients of the 2004 Good Design Awards in Japan, the first time a video game had ever won that award. And during the 8th Annual Interactive Achievement Awards, the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences gave this game Outstanding Innovation in Console Gaming and Outstanding Achievement in Game Designs. It also got nominations for Game of the Year, Console Game of the Year, and Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition. So, while it did not entirely get everybody's attention in the way that Namco thought it was going to, the returns on it, both immediately and after probably I'd say 2-3 years into Katamari's run on the original PS2, was so surprising that there could be little doubt that they were going to go ahead and do a secondary game, which became We Love Katamari. So now we've got to catch crabs, and I do not mean that in a Freudian way. I mean that in order to make the Constellation of Cancer, we've got to wrap up a whole great number of crabs. But in order to get them, we've got to get the Katamari to a size where we can really start to wrap them up. Am I stuck on here? So while you're not really able to catch a lot of crabs right now, again, we got to start getting as much small stuff as possible to build up. So now when the crabs start running away from you like that, that's when you know you're big enough to start picking them up. Now we have the big crab. There's another big green crab. There's a bunch of them hanging right here, and I can't quite get to them. There we go. Look, now we're too big to go under that gap. Crab's watching TV. Mom's still asleep at the table. So I just ran into her. I mean, if you really think about what is happening in this game, even though I'm 5 centimeters tall, you would think that if I ran into somebody with something that big and just absolutely broadside them, I would have gotten their attention. Somehow, I didn't. What am I stuck on? Pick up the ladle here. Get some hair dryers. How much time we got? 2 minutes? And we're still not even big enough yet. I really gotta move here. I gotta get to 83 centimeters in time. Still not good, because I only got 30 seconds. I don't think I'm going to get there. Now, if we fail this, we're actually going to see something that is actually quite scary. So we only got 94%. We had 70% of it completed. We had 94 crabs, so we picked up 70% of what we needed, but we only got 62 centimeters worth of the overall circumference that we should have hit. So we didn't fail the mission, it's just not going to be as big as it could have been.
Oh, I feel it.
So now this is kind of the storyline part of it, where you follow this Japanese family that is aware of what is going on. And the kids figure out what's going on, and they start letting their parents know. Of course, the parents are oblivious to it because they're parents. So we'll do one more. Since we're at about half an hour. So we're going to Portugal. Had an issue and just sort of pitched it away. Must be around here somewhere, so we'll roll it up while you're at it. So among the things that you can pick up during each of these missions is that you can pick up gifts that the king sends you. You can also pick up, if you're lucky, you will find like a member of your family sitting around. And they'll stop and let you know when you pick them up. So now we got 8 minutes to get to 50 centimeters. So let's go. Cucumbers. Toothbrushes. Fleas. Cat. Don't need help with the cat. And obviously, the more you play this, the more you start figuring out a good tactical way to go through this. Now, granted, this is a game where you just got to pick stuff up, so you don't really have to think about it in terms of like a Dark Souls or like a super tactical RPG or something like that. But you got to have some approach to it, otherwise you're not going to be able to complete the goals and do what you need to in the allotted time. Whoop. There we go. Up side there. Pick up the shuriken. And the sparkler. This way. I whiff on all this stuff. Come on. There we go. I will tell you, after you've played a couple of missions, your thumbs may be quite sore just from the exertion of steering around so much. So just a heads up on that. There we go. That's where jumping comes in handy. Come on. Did not need to get stuck in that little gully. Now we come back in here and we can really start cleaning the house. So the other thing about this game is that there will be sections that are kind of like easy to lock in on. Because now that we get the cans, now we're in good shape because we can pick up even more stuff. Well, you reported to Mother there, Dad, but we'll also report that it was you who put us in this situation by being in a drunken stupor and blowing the universe up. Take out food. We got milk bottles. Well, now that we're in a slightly wider area here, whoop. Oh, come on. Let me pick the elephant up. You're not going to let me pick the elephant up. All right. Pick up the wrench. Really, cat? Out of the way, feline. Can we pick up the underwear? Yes, we can pick up the underwear. It wouldn't be a Japanese game if we could not pick up the underwear, I suppose. Really? Running into more pets. There we go. Now we can really start scooping stuff up. We're 45, and we've got about 2 minutes to go here. Can we finally get up this ledge? Alright, I think we've hit 50. Your Katamari is big as 6 right counselors. Now that we've come this far, we would love to have a much bigger, super nice Katamari. We'll leave you to your work then. Okay, cool, because we got 2 minutes. Still can't pick up the dog yet. But we can pick up all the bottles and stuff that are over here. That's helpful. There's a whole bunch of stuff over here that we missed. Including a whole bunch of cymbal bashing monkeys. But we got to 65 centimeters thereabouts, which isn't terrible. And we'll see what the overall look on this one was. So 64 centimeters, 9 millimeters. It's okay, but you can do better. Of course it's okay, but we can do better. Since you're the prince, you should do much, much better. But we picked up 413 objects in 6 minutes, 48 seconds. And the most stuff we picked up was cooking material. And what do we get out of this one? We get the Bistro Star.
Mom, they said on TV that all the stars disappeared.
Oh, honey, things like that just don't happen.
See, like I told you, the parents are oblivious to what the kids are realizing.
But that's what they said, right?
And the story is to be continued. But that, everybody, in a nutshell, is Katamari Damacy. And again, like, you can go through the remainder of the levels. I think there's about 8 or 9 left in this game. And then you just keep building up bigger and bigger Katamari. I know I can say that, as opposed to bitter Katamari. You only get bitter Katamari if you fail the missions. Then you see one of the scariest things that I've seen in a video game in a long time, which is the King of the Cosmos very angry. And it is genuinely spooky how they do it. But eventually you will have missions all over the globe as you replace all the stars in the sky. And then one of the little things you can do as the end credits roll is you can actually go through and pick up all the countries on Earth in a Super Katamari, and you will actually track as the end credits roll what you pick up. And in all the years I've played this game, I've never been able to get all 210 countries up on the Katamari. But is this a good game? Yes, it is. It's a very original game. It's a fun game. It's a challenging game. It's for what you do. There's actually a surprising amount of challenge involved and baked into the game. And because you can go back and replay each mission, and there's always the idea of how to make your Katamaris bigger and bigger and bigger, it adds to the replay value of it. So it's not just a one and done type of game where if you've never played this before, that you would go through and all just think, oh, well, I've reached the end. What's the point in going back? It is something that you can put down and then try again, 6, 10, 12, 18 months later, and still have fun with it. And you don't have to play all the missions all at once. Once you've unlocked everything, you're free to pick and choose how you want to do it. The sequels are the exact same way. Yes, they've fleshed out things, they've changed the mechanics, and they've changed some of the storyline, obviously, from one story to the next. But on the whole, you're still the prince, you still got to correct the king's blunders, and this is how you go about it. So, is it a game I can recommend? Absolutely. And again, this is a game that truly anybody can play. I would have no problem at all with my kids playing it. I don't know many parents who would either. As you see, it's not a violent game. It's not a really super exasperating game. It's one that you can play at your own pace and be just fine with, and be none the worse for wear. So, and the better part is about this one, it's a game you can beat in a day. So, that is our one-day playthrough for this week. If you've been enjoying the content, best way to show it, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the newest episodes that we post every week. Hope you did tune in yesterday for Sucker Punch Sunday. Like I said, we played Booger Man, a pick and flick adventure from the 16-bit era for the Genesis and Super Nintendo. And for Sports Saturday, we played NFL Blitz 2001 and came up on the defeated side of victory once again. Be sure to follow us on social media through Instagram and Threads. Spread the word about us so we continue to build our subscriber base and get this channel bigger and better. We are in the process, as I mentioned yesterday, of hammering down our next playthrough. We are looking to get the episodes started recording in the next week or so, and then they will go up on the channel probably by mid-May. We've just got to find time to fit them in. That means probably the one-day playthroughs and most likely WTF Wednesday will go on pause for a little bit while we get those done. It's not that we don't like doing these. It's just, again, we're trying to avoid burnout, and we're a very, very small skeleton crew putting these episodes and this content together. We got to know how to pick our battles so we can think long-term about it. And on that front, if there is a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on social media. It can be any game from those consoles that you want. My name is Ron. It's been great to go spend this one-day playthrough with you. I'm going to go get a drink because my throat is shot today. I don't know why. And we will talk to you on Wednesday for another episode of WTF Wednesday. Bye.